Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another edition of Inspirate Business, the show that's here to inspire you, to empower you, and to enlighten you. And with this Inspirate Business show, we showcase aspiring, inspiring, and influential businessmen, entrepreneurs, influencers, people that we can learn from, people that are here to share their journeys in their own way in terms of their success. And through some pearls of wisdom that they share with us, we can take some of these, implement it in our own lives, and inshallah, then also attain the success that we so richly deserve. Today, I have on our hot couch none other than Yusuf Tilly, better known in colloquial terms as Jeez. Welcome, Yusuf.
Thank you, Yusuf.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on our Inspirate Business show. I know you for many, many years, growing up in Mpumalanga town, Ermelo. That's where you grew up, right?
That's right, Amalo, yeah.
Right. So tell us a little bit about your journey growing up, how you got into the whole business world, and just your rearing. I know your family was a very influential family in Ermelo. They were
The Tilly family.
The Tilly family. They owned the bus service, right?
Transport company.
Yes,
bus
yes.
Yeah, so we grew up in Amalo. We used to come down to Amsterdam, remember?
Yes.
We used to go to Amsterdam. We went to school primary school was in Amalo. However, to get to high school, we had to travel to Standerton.
Right.
There was no high schools back in the day in Amalo. So we used to go to Standerton school, finished up school, and then like all other guys didn't study much.
Right.
So went into the family business, which was Tilly's bus service.
Right.
Transport company.
And I remember that was one of the leading bus service companies at the time, right?
Yeah, back in the day, we were about one of the biggest companies in the day. And my late dad, my uncles, my cousins, we were all in the family business kind of thing, you know? So we sticked around there. We worked in the bus company, did transport to the mines, all the local Standerton, Bethel.
At what age did you join the family business?
Around 17.
Okay.
I was 17, young, and didn't want to go out and study, so jumped into the buses and started operating the buses. Then about 2000, lost my dad.
Okay.
He was sick with cancer and stuff like that.
Allah grant him Jannah.
Ameen. And then I said to my mom, let's move to Johannesburg. And that's when it all started.
So you came to Johannesburg in the early 2000s?
Early 2000s, about 2000, 2001, I got to Johannesburg. And then it was difficult initially, coming from the farm, Almelo, and now in Johannesburg, based in Benoni. A lot of support from my family, my immediate family, which are my sisters, my brother-in-laws, my nieces, my nephews, who are all based around here. And it just took off. I joined a reputable car company, exclusive cars we used to do. So it was more retail and went on. And then one day I woke up and I said, let me go to Turkey. Let me go and see what's happening there.
Just before you're going to go to Turkey, because I know you've had a very colorful history as an entrepreneur and also traveled around the world. But I know your passion for cars.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember as a kid, I was stuck in Cape Town on one holiday, I think as a student, and I needed to get a ride, and I got a ride with this famous guy, was told at the time, Yusuf Tilly. And I think we ended up in one of your fancy BMs or something.
We were in a 328 convertible or something like that back in the day.
We did it in like 8 hours or something, or 10 hours, some ridiculous amount. But you've also had this passion for the lavish, right? I mean, I guess growing up also in a pretty like abundant home and whatever.
I came up very luckily to my father, my family. I mean, we were blessed, you know what I mean? I drove nice cars. I was never short of cars, that you would know.
Yes, and that's your passion, right?
The fancy cars and the traveling overseas and, ship cruises and here and there. That was all about. And then never really worried about the marriage factor in life.
Right.
I said, rather stay single and see what goes on. So the cars was amazing. It was really good.
Yeah.
But then I got tired of cars, It was like same old, been there, done that kind of thing. So I looked and said, what can I do next?
Mm.
And then I said, okay, let me go and explore and see what's out there. So I went on a work system to Turkey for 6 months.
Okay. And what year was this?
This was 5 years ago, so that would be about in 2022, so about 2017.
Okay.
And I did lots of work for a client from South Africa who had interest in Turkey. It was amazing. Only we had to work too hard. Not like South Africa, we spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
So I came back to South. I did a bit of work in Dubai as well. For about a month or two, we did Dubai. And it was okay, but not like home. Home is home.
Mm-hmm.
So I got back here and I said, what can I do? That's when it all started. You must remember till now, I worked for people. I worked with people. And now I said, enough is enough, and I got to go into my own business kind of thing. That's where I went into Trade Connect.
Okay. So we'll talk a little bit about Trade Connect. But in terms of, as an entrepreneur, as somebody that, worked as a youngster, 17 years old in your family business, then got into cars. I mean, would I be correct in saying that sales, people-centered competency, that would be your strength?
Yes. I would put it this way. If you can talk the talk and walk the walk, you can get a long way in Africa. I mean, it's all about sales. It's all about, it's more about networking and what would I say, relationships. In today's times, it's all about relationship. If you've got a good relationship with the guy and if you're a people's person, you can't go wrong. I mean, from my education background, I'm not heavily qualified. I'm more a talker.
Right.
And in my experience, I mean, I've got lots of places just with my mouth talking. Yes. And I mean, Africa, if you can talk, we've got opportunity like you can't believe. I mean, from the cars, I mean, if you see today, you can't get a supercar. You can't get a fancy car, no availability. Right? So the challenge is gone where you had to sell it. In the old days, you had to convince people to buy things.
Yes.
And I mean, that's what it's all about, is networking, and mainly is your service, I would say.
And of course, I mean, you've got life experiences, right? I mean, knowing you also, I mean, I'm fortunate to know you. You put yourself out there. I mean, there are a lot of people, I mean, we think about growing up in a small town.
Yeah.
You go back to that small town and you see some people, alhamdulillah, that's their destiny, but they're still in that small town, right? They've done very well. They have their own businesses, but it's a very sort of routine life. Whereas what you've done is you ventured out. I mean, you came out, maybe circumstantial as well, but you ventured out. I mean, I would like to think going to Turkey, you don't have the academic qualification. So how would you make it?
Neither language.
Neither language, yeah. And yet, how do you navigate through that? Yeah.
You know, when it comes to doing deals and stuff like that, everybody understands. It's again from a money point of view, is everybody wants to do business in Africa. So I mean, if you look at Ermelo, a place like Ermelo, I left there 22 years ago. But if I'd go back to Ermelo tomorrow, what I did there 22 years ago, somebody else is doing it, and it's doing exactly what I was doing. And okay, you got a lot of the foreign people that just are coming to the country, which is your India, Pakistanis, your Bangladeshis, your Somalis.
And doing very, very well.
Amazingly well. I actually take my hat off to them to see the way they do business. I mean, if you ask me from a South African point of view, back in the day, you knew the business people in Ermelo. You knew the business people in Stenison, wherever it was. It's changed. It's a whole different ballgame. I mean, if you go to Ermelo, in the business, in the retail market, it's all foreign people. It's people that
it was unbelievable. The first Eid this year, we had a family Eid gathering in Ermelo.
Right.
And I attended, so after many, many years, I went to Ermelo, and I was fortunate enough to attend the Eid Salah there.
Right.
And the amazing thing about it is that it's so cosmopolitan.
It's amazing.
Like, and successful people that have ventured into the little townships, into the little homelands around Ermelo, surrounding areas, and have made successful businesses.
I must say, Carolina, Henrina, you look at Stenton, you look at Nelspruit, you look at Ilakwatini. It's places we grew up. I mean, Amsterdam. We used to go there on holiday and climb mountains and go fishing.
Yes.
I mean, it's a whole new town. You know nobody. But what's amazing is the business sector from it. How it's changed around, and how you see value, and what value people see in the farm towns where I came away. The people that are there are still there, doing the same old thing for the last 20 years, 30 years. I was lucky enough to be adventurous and take a chance and go do what I had to do. And like I said, when I got to Turkey, it was like, I don't even know the language. I know nobody here. And it just took off. And like I say, if you can talk, you don't have a problem.
Yes. So, we've just getting warm and understanding and learning such a lot of, or sharing, you sharing such a lot of insights around your experience. And what comes out very strongly, and I think, there's this concept of they talk of intelligent quotient, IQ. Then they say there's EQ, which is emotional quotient. And then they say the SQ, which is social quotient. And now they talk of the AQ, which is the adaptable quotient. So the whole focus for many, many, many years, and you look at our education system, has all been based on IQ. Right? What has come out very strongly and is so important in the world we live in today is IQ is important. But what about that social quotient, that emotional quotient, and the adaptability quotient? And we sure have those three quotients in Yusuf Tilly. Immediately after the break, we'll go into more depth around what Yusuf is doing and what he can share with us. See you after the break. Welcome back to Inspirate Business, where we're talking to Yusuf Tilly on our hot couch. Yusuf has been sharing with us his journey as an entrepreneur, ventured out of a small little town in Mpumalanga, Ermelo, where he was fortunate to be involved in the family business at a young age. The Tillys were very well known and a successful family. And luckily, you were fortunate to learn the principles of business, abundance thinking, which many people didn't have. And I think that has helped you a lot, right?
In the old days, you went to school, and then you went to madrasa, and after madrasa, you had to be in the shop.
Yes.
Saturday mornings was not going to the mall, was going in the shop, take the feather duster, and dust all over the shop and show. So if you bought something for 2 rand, you couldn't sell it for 1 rand. You had to sell it for 3 rand. So from the time you were a little boy, it was about making profit. And you saw what your parents were doing, what your family was doing, what the whole town was doing was basically making money. It was like you bought something, so it was trading that you were brought up in. And I found it to be very interesting.
It's actually so powerful. It's such a simple concept, which people convolute in with MBAs and all the studying. And if you take it down, it's the basic thing. You're buying something for X, and you're selling it for Y.
You can't sell it for less.
Exactly. X plus.
Like in my situation, I don't have no MBAs and I don't have any of those, but I sit on the board of Cytec's advisory committee. And I mean, when I talk to those guys and when we interact like we're doing now, it's like you got to be out there to see what's happening. Knowing on paper, pressing buttons, and that's when COVID came in, and a lot of my friends that were MBAs and pilots and whatever it was like, geez, what's happening? I was like, what's wrong, guys? No, you can do anything and you can operate. We are now shut down and you're not operating. And my MBA doesn't mean a lot to me. And I was like, no, don't look at it from that point of view. I mean, it is what you should be proud of what you've got and stuff like that. But he looks at me and says to me, you can do anything. So why don't I come and do something with you? I was like, okay, let's see. And I tried helping the guys out. But again, if you're a pilot, stick to flying. Do what you know. Don't do what you don't know. Put your energy and things into things that you don't know. You're wasting time and energy. So he came to me, we spoke, and that's when I realized in life, you can be anywhere in the world. If you make the effort, if you wake up in the morning and go out for the day and try and do what you need to do, you will achieve what you want to. You can't sit at home and expect it to happen. So when COVID hit us, it was like, everybody was, we've got to sit at home. And I remember sitting at home for one day. Second day, it was like, you know what, I can't sit at home.
Mm, mm.
So I said, we must make something out of COVID. And everybody needed a mask, everybody needed sanitizers, and the whole country needed it.
And you know how to trade.
And I know how to trade.
Yes.
And in my business, I do like 6 provinces in South Africa, which I do like 15,000 kilos every 3 months.
So your business is Trade Connect.
This is my business,
Right.
Trade Connect, basically.
Yeah.
We do a B2B networking company.
Okay.
So I've got the likes like Broadway Sweets, I've got Tower Mega.
Right.
I've got all the big players that are based in Johannesburg.
And you travel to get people on here. You travel around the country. You said you're in 6 provinces.
Okay, so what I do is I get the people that advertise with me, which are more Johannesburg-based, Durban-based, Cape Town, more from the cities. I print 5,000 copies. And when I say I go to Limpopo, I start in Messina, Toyando, Venda. I go to every single shop. Whoever gets a magazine, I've got a phone number. So for example, you ask me in Messina how many people selling shoes, I can tell you. If you ask me how many people selling sweets, I can tell you. It took me 3 years to build a database. So
Wow.
there's no other way of doing it. You got to go yourself. Like I always say,
And you go to neighboring countries, I believe, as well.
I do Namibia, I
Right.
do Botswana, I did Botswana, and I did Mozambique, which was amazing because they are all dependent on Johannesburg, basically. If you look at Johannesburg, is the hub for Africa. Everybody comes from anywhere. That will be from anywhere in Africa.
And this is what is termed the second economy, right?
That's right.
Which is probably, I mean, it's when I say second economy, it comes across because second it can be seen as more demeaning. It's actually the real economy.
That's right.
This is the African economy, right? This is what the heart and pulse of us as a developing country.
That's right.
Right. So when you go to places like Messina, you have these wholesalers, and a lot of them are now expats in this country, right? The first generation Bangladeshis,
India,
Pakistanis,
Pakistanis,
Indian businessmen that are there, right?
Yeah.
And like supermarkets,
Yeah. So
traders.
exactly what we've got all these business people. So we don't go to the malls. If you look at
Right.
every town in every province, has a mall.
Right.
I mean, everywhere you go, there's a mall.
Right.
So that's not our
That's your
focus
first
point.
economy. Right.
That's your first economy.
Yeah.
So you've got your Mr. Price, you've got all your fancy
Right.
guys. And then if you go downtown,
Yeah.
that is my area. I would say downtown, which is now where taxi ranks are,
Yes.
where you got good flow of people. And if you're out there and you see the real world out there, it's amazing. You can't say you can't do business in Africa, especially in South Africa. I mean, I've been doing Namibia, I've been doing Botswana, I've been doing Mozambique. But look at South Africa on the whole. If you just look at Limpopo, you look at Mpumalanga, the buying power, it's amazing.
And there's some amazing stories. I mean, you can attest to it, right?
Yeah.
You look at guys that have come here, maybe in less than 10 years, 15 years ago, that have come directly from either India or Bangladesh or Pakistan, and they are now running thriving businesses.
No, the guy that came to South Africa 20 years ago, 30 years ago, he's got now 7 stores, 8 stores. And you must know the kids are now South African born,
Yes.
like us, not like the parents that came in, and they're thriving businesses. I mean, they work hard. They put a lot of effort into it. I must give them due for that. I mean, take my hat off for them. I mean, Sunday to Sunday, they are working. I mean, you go anywhere on a Sunday afternoon, you can buy what you want to. You go to a spaza shop, they open for you, very helpful for you. And the amazing thing is their pricing. Is they're not killing you. They're cheaper than your so-called malls and all that kind of stuff.
That's one thing I must say, and it's a very powerful concept, is that, I learned this here, and that is that if the one thing that I think the Muslim businessman brings is that, and I think it's a principle that is ingrained in us, because, I mean, it's so important, trade. I mean, it's in the Quran as well, is that you give something at the best price.
Yeah.
It's actually a bit of a side show or a bit of a joke, right? That I met a guy a Portuguese guy, and they into liquor stores.
Okay.
And he made a joke. He said, "Thank God you Muslims can't get into that business, because then our profits would go."
Yeah.
So that's the point, right?
Yeah.
Is that we bring products at affordable pricing.
Affordable pricing, yeah. You see, with most of your businesses now, there's a lot of unity. So there's no cut pricing.
Right.
You see, in my experiences, in the old days, I mean, it was, okay, I'm selling for 2 rand, you're going to sell for 180. If you see today's sector, I mean, if you see all the foreign guys that get along so well and stuff, if you want to talk to 10 men, 10 dealers that are selling electronics, for every town you go to, there's cell phone shops. And there's enough cell phone shops. There's not 1 or 2. So spending the whole day in a town and going to 10 shops, you'd call 10 of these business people to one shop. They'll give you an order, or they'll give an order, and they all stick to the same price. So it's a win-win for everybody. And I mean, if you look at a simple thing like your barbershops in Fordsburg, Mayfair.
I mean, in a small geographic area, there are probably like 100 of them.
I would say about 150, 200 the last time they counted.
And yet all of them are still surviving and they all do the business.
Simple. Everybody's price is the same.
Yes.
So if you're going for a shave, you're paying 50 rand at one barbershop, you're paying everywhere 50 rand. So you've got that unity, and you've got that, they've got like in the old days when we grew up. Like we had all the unity amongst the family, the friends, and
But isn't that what's the strength of our growth as a community as well? Our forefathers. I mean, it was about like coming back to your family. I know growing up, they were like aspirational, right? And then if somebody was struggling, they would come to your family and they would help them, right? And then those guys grow up, and then eventually they help. And so that's what's happening, right? And that's how you grow as a community.
That's right.
Again, very powerful lessons for us where we're sitting right now with Advent. You talked about COVID and whatever. Is that, and today we have even technology to allow us. I mean, you're using technology, but what are you doing? You're allowing as a portal for people to collaborate, to connect. I have a business. I'm wanting to tap into a market where I would ordinarily need reps, for example. I may not have the resources for that. Very easy to connect, with yourselves. I mean, exactly the name Trade Connect.
Trade Connect.
And then this book sits at so many stores, and it's there for longevity, right?
Exactly.
I mean, even I guess you print these regularly.
We print every quarterly, so every 3 months. And the quality of the magazine is good, so it's not going to fade away. It's not going to be thrown away. If you see the magazine and you see the quality of the magazine, you want to look at it. And I mean, like you said, it's anywhere I go. I mean, 3 years later, guys like phoning one of my clients to say, I've seen your ad here. Where do you see it? In Namibia, in Mozambique, or in Messina, it's there. And I mean, I'm not looking for this, but I need this. Whereas on your online platforms and all that, you're going to look for what you're looking. Whereas my magazine, even if it doesn't make sense to you, you're going to look at it. It's going to catch your eye. And I still believe in Africa, we've got a good couple of years before the online hits my kind of market. That would be your middle to lower. Not your middle to upper kind thing, your middle to lower. And I mean, it's been amazing.
But you guys have moved into an online side of things?
Yes, so we've got the online side of it, which I will share with you later. We've got the online, we've got the Facebook, we've got the Instagram, we do LinkedIn marketing, we're busy with TikTok.
So you're very much in touch with all the social media side of things and the technology side.
Slowly but surely I'm getting involved.
Again, very interesting, lessons again for us, right? Here is somebody, and out of his own admission, didn't do the tertiary education, yet adaptable, people's person. And through that, I mean, now really at the cutting edge of what is happening. So you have your 1 foot on the ground, you traverse the length and breadth of SADC, and at the same time, you've got this your eyes on what's the latest trends in terms of social media, in terms of technology, in terms of operating in a global sphere.
Yeah, in today's time, if you don't know about all these things, you're not going to. I mean, it's not going to cost you money to read up a bit, to sit with people that know what they're doing. I always say, do what you know. This is what I know. I'm a people's person. We can talk here for hours and hours and not get done with it.
Okay, we'll come back to where we're going to go to with, you were talking a little bit about Turkey. Well, let's talk about that after the break. Welcome back to Inspirate Business, the show that's here to inspire you, to empower you, and to enlighten you. And we've been having this very intriguing conversation, and he's been sharing lots of insights around his adaptability, his social impact. Yusuf Tilly, better known as G's in colloquial terms. Yusuf, now you were talking about your business Trade Connect, and you traverse the length and breadth of South Africa as well as our neighboring countries. We were talking a little bit about the changing trends with the immigrants coming into South Africa, really making an impact, guys that have done so well, and with strong Islamic ethos in business, where they're talking of providing products at the most affordable pricing, and that appeals to, especially in the African condition, actually globally as well. I mean, look at COVID today. What it has done is that, look at inflation. It's tight on people's budgets, exactly. Right? And people want things at affordable pricing, and that's something that you can provide through this network of customers that you have, and people can then put their products onto that platform and provide that service. That's but taking it a little bit further, you're talking of Africa business wide. You then talked a little bit about Turkey as well. So how do you see that linking up?
Okay, so people are bringing in, you'll be bringing your stock, your goods in, coming from China mostly, from Indonesia, but mainly China is where people bring stock in from. And at the moment, with the current situation, where your Turkish lira is par to the rand,
right,
there's a lot of value in your Turkish products. Now, if you look at your Turkish products, your quality is much better than your Chinese products. It's amazing. It's an amazing country. And it's now one-to-one, basically. So it's like living in Johannesburg, you can be living in Istanbul. And there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of goods that can come through, from a lot of product that can come through.
I know one, for example, like again in this market, the second economy market, again affordable. There's a lot of guys bringing in, and the Turkish companies have come in with sweets, Turkish sweets, right? And high quality stuff.
High quality stuff, your Turkish delights, your normal sweets, your normal electronics. Even if you look at your cosmetics, very big in Turkey. A massive range.
I mean, this couch that you're sitting on is actually manufactured in Turkey and of the highest quality. Yeah,
exactly. So what I'm thinking now to Trade Connect to another level is to get an office in Istanbul.
Right.
I've spent some time there in the past. I've got my contacts there, and now with the economy.
Nice place. I've been on the Bosphorus.
Oh, amazing. Too lovely. From a safety point and all that kind of stuff, and amazing. Only the cold is winters are very cold.
Yeah.
So we are actually thinking of maybe by October setting up office in Turkey, where we can provide as an agent to you. So whatever product you're looking for, if you get hold of us, Trade Connect, we source it for you. We give you a few options of what's available, what pricing. So before you get to Turkey, you know exactly what you're coming from. So we're not going to be buying and selling stuff and all that. We're just going to be connecting people.
I mean, that's what you do, right?
That's what I do.
Like we're doing here, you connecting people.
Like I'm doing here in South Africa,
right?
We can do the same from Turkey. It's the thought that's going through the mind. I mean, from Ermelo to Joburg, from Joburg to Turkey, why not?
Exactly. It's a global village, right?
It's a global village. I mean, and it's simple. If you can talk the talk and walk the walk, that's all you need to do.
And you've got a good network there.
Yeah, I know a lot of people there, a lot of different companies, like in the different towns, in the different cities. I've spent time there, and it's an amazing country to go to. And I mean, to work there will be amazing, you know? So I was thinking like maybe do 1 month in Turkey, get your bases, get all your contacts, come back to South Africa, hook the people up and see how it goes. If it goes well, why not?
You know, just this week I heard something about them now introducing a visa system. Is that correct?
Okay, so it was on for a day where you had to go on that other visa system, but then they brought it back to the normal.
Oh, is it? So we as South Africans don't, we can get a visa upon entry into...
Upon entry, yeah.
You don't need to go to the
No,
embassy.
no, it's not an
and all of
application
that.
if you...
And you're saying that our rand is on par?
About one Turkish lira is a South African rand today.
And in terms of cost of living in Turkey?
I would say your food and stuff is cheaper.
Right.
It's about the same. Your food is a bit cheaper, but your safety, again, that's where you come in. And I mean, in South Africa, you need your car, you need your fuel. Like we were talking about the economy now, your fuel price. In Turkey, you don't need a car.
You've got great transportation system.
Your public transport is amazing. You got undergrounds, you got the trains, you got all this. And I mean, everybody's hungry for business today. So
and they lead in terms of manufacturing, right? So what would be, like, let's say a would-be entrepreneur or existing businessman here looking to partner with somebody in Turkey or bring in products from there, what would be your typical type of products that you'd bring in?
Your main lines at the moment would be your sweets,
yeah,
your sweets, your cosmetics, then you got a lot of hardware.
right?
Because you must know in South Africa, people are building all the time. You know, in my experience here, if you're driving in Limpopo or Mpumalanga, between the towns, people are building all the time. So you need your...
And they're very strong in the construction industry,
very,
the
very
Turks,
big,
right?
Very big.
I mean, I know Mozambique, for example, they're doing great investments in there, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the buildings, a lot of the new projects are actually being, even in the northern parts of Mozambique, is actually being done through Turkish investments and their skills.
Turkey has got everything you can think about. And the nice thing about Turkey is the quality on the workmanship. Amazing. You can't compare it to nowhere else in the world. The workmanship, they take a lot of pride in what they do. So they perfect it till they give it before they...
I attended a show now recently, and it is in the food industry. And you've seen some of the best manufacturing technology. I'm talking of in the snack industry, for example, in the biscuit industry. And you look at the machinery that was traditionally, let's say, Italian,
or
which
German.
were known, or Chinese, American, and the Turks are making it at a fraction of the price.
Yeah, the Turks are... Even in your armored vehicles and stuff like that. I was speaking to my nephew who's doing this armored cars and all that kind of stuff, and he went to a show in Paris and stuff like that. And when he got back, he says, my next step is Turkey. I was like, Paris, Turkey, they're the biggest manufacturers of armored products and stuff like that.
So it will be Trade Connect in
Istanbul.
In Istanbul.
Yeah, that's what
and then the same thing that you do in here, whereas here you're connecting suppliers to this economy.
You see, here we are B2B.
Yeah.
So if you look at your Turkey, we're going to do the same thing.
Right.
All my current clients would be interested in buying product from Turkey at the moment because of your pricing again. It's good. And like I always keep on saying, Africa's got a lot of money. It's just you got to make an effort. Back in the day, it was a bit easier. It's a bit more difficult now.
With the world, right? I mean, the world that we're living in, it's actually become so much more challenged now with COVID.
Yeah.
But yet, and I like what you're saying, which is so powerful, right? Is that many people get disillusioned, right? You know, you have an unprecedented thing like COVID. I mean, who would have thought? I always say this. I said, in 2019 December, if you and I were sitting, and somebody had to tell you 3 months later that the whole world would stop, you'd say, this guy deserves to go into a mental institute.
Yeah, sure.
Because he's talking absolute rubbish, right?
Yeah, sure.
And who would have thought, right? But something so powerful that you said is that in this period, you know, you could have sat and just allowed it to play out. But you said, let me be adaptable. What do I need to do differently?
Right.
And that's why you're here, right? And now looking at,
I mean, COVID was actually good for me from a business point of view. I mean, I seen the whole country. I was the only guy driving on the freeway to Limpopo to...
So you had
I had the permit,
right.
and I was doing the right thing. I was supplying PPE to all the surrounding towns, and where the shops were all open from a certain time, but nobody had stock because deliveries was a problem. So I made it easy for everybody. And at the same time...
And you had the infrastructure, right?
I had the infrastructure, and I knew the people, I knew everything. So it was a phone call away. Once I got the permit, I got the bucky, and I started rocking and rolling. And I worked that month, I mean, I must have did in 1 month about, 25,000 kilos,
Wow.
going up and down to Messina, coming back, reloading, going back. And it really gave me a boost, you know? It was really amazing. It was...
What they say is that, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of success comes out in chaotic times.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I we were talking to somebody, a banker, and something very interesting stats. There's this view that during COVID, yes, there's a lot of heartache, a lot of people have lost businesses, a lot of people have been impacted. Yes, we know that. But at the same time, there are so many millionaires that have been created in the same period. A very interesting stat. And during the year of COVID, the height of it, in that 2020, it was 2020, right? They say that Porsche South Africa, in its history in South Africa, had the highest number of sales. I think it was in June.
Just
so like 3 months into COVID, it had its highest sales. So because at the same time, like you said, you had the best time because you were now selling a product that was unknown before. But who would have known what masks were or sanitizers and all of that? But being a businessman, as you said, knowing that you need to buy and also provide it at the best price, I guess you also consciously, and I think this is important because business is also about a consciousness, right? And you did it because you wanted to serve and not doing it at exorbitant pricing.
No, these are my people.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at my business at the moment, without my people in Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Northwest, Free State, I wouldn't be where I am. So when I saw a gap where I could do them deals and stuff, I had to be fair as well. Because it's not a once-off thing. I mean, if you look at PPE and you looked at COVID, you would have said it's a once-off thing because the PPE came and it went and it's done. I have to face people every 3 months. I have to see them. They talk to me on a daily basis. If anybody's looking for product, they'll phone me. And I sell absolutely nothing. I market everything. I can get you whatever you want to, when you want to, with one phone call kind of thing. So, I mean, these same people that were buying PPE for me, sanitizers, I need them on a daily basis. And it's more, like I say, based on relationship. It's not so much about the magazine. It's not so much about Trade Connect. It's about the relationship I built with all these people. Likewise in Turkey, it's a relationship. I mean, I'm back now 5 years from Turkey when I was there. And if I picked up the phone last night and the phone, the guy's like, Abi, when are you coming? Is that relationship? I mean, I'm a likable kind of guy. So in the same thing, we couldn't go exorbitant because then you're gonna lose the guy. It's gonna be a once-off thing, and this is ongoing thing. I see the guy every 3 months, and I must tell you, the first time I went out, when I started the database, the guys were like, "Okay, uncle, are you gonna come back?" I don't like to be called uncle firstly, but anyway, are you gonna come back?
Well, listen, now at our age now, I think we have to accept that we are now the uncles in the business.
Yeah.
So we've come now to the end of this segment. Again, we can talk forever. Yusuf, so intrigued by all the insights that you're sharing, very practical. Immediately after the break, we'll get to the last segment and we'll have some parting words from Yusuf as he continues sharing this insight and this wealth of experience that he's had over the years. Get you immediately after the break. Welcome back to Inspirate Business. We're here to inspire, empower, and enlighten you. We're already at the last segment with my very special guest, Yusuf Tilly. Yusuf, you've been really intriguing us with your life experiences. Wow. I mean, traveling the length and breadth of the country, meeting with different people. It takes quite a unique person to be able to do that. At the time of COVID, I mean, most people froze when this unprecedented thing happened, when the whole world came to a standstill. What did you do? You said, let me go out and serve. That is commendable. Honestly, there's such a powerful lesson in that. And I think it's as people of faith that we've been taught, a beautiful example through the Prophet ﷺ. Isn't that what he did?
That's what
You
he
know,
said.
he never allowed any challenge. And he was faced with so many challenges. Never allowed it to thwart him, to stop him. He taught us hope. He taught us always believing to be positive, no matter your circumstances. And that comes out so strongly for me from what you're doing. Yes, you have done remarkable stuff. In a sense, you grew up in a lap of luxury, yet you lost your father at a young age. The business failed. You had to then survive. You had your mother that you needed to look after. And up to today,
Absolutely.
that is your barakah.
That's my
And I know
barakah.
that.
I am where I am because of mom.
Because of your mom, right? And you do that, yet you're this global operator, social light, light up the room as well. So these are powerful, powerful traits, right? And maybe for our viewers, right? Just as we come to the close of the show, share a little bit of insight in terms of somebody that wants to, from a business perspective, wants to get involved with you, but also a youngster out there, somebody that may have lost their business, somebody that's going through a tough time. And there are a lot of people that are going through it. Some insights for them.
Okay, so it's pretty simple. If you're a youngster out there and you're watching this and you want to go out and make it in this world, your first thing from my side would be educate yourself. Study, get a degree. I mean, when I was in Turkey and I'm working from 6 a.m. to like 12 midnight because there are people, work is your priority kind of thing. And you'd go for dinner to a restaurant and you'd meet a young South African boy sitting there and you'd be like, "Uncle, how are you?" And all that. "Okay, how are you? What you doing here?" He's like, "No," I say, "I'm working." "What are you doing?" "I'm working, I'm an accountant, I'm an engineer." And you see what he's earning and the lifestyle he's living. It's amazing. And I have to wake up at 6 in the morning and I probably know more than what he knows, but I don't have a piece of paper that says that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes. So today, for every youngster out there, education is the key. However, if you go my way, which is go business and want to be making money, and if you put your effort into it, you're going to wake up in the morning, have direction. You could be busy the whole day, but you achieve nothing at 5 o'clock when the day is over. Whereas if you're focused and you know what to do, you know what you want, and you want to get it, you're going to get it.
So that clarity.
The clarity is very important because we all get caught in this rat race of being busy. Being busy doesn't mean you're operating. You could be busy the whole day, the whole week.
I could have meetings the whole day.
Whole day.
Coffee shop meetings. End up with a hole in my pocket and I haven't achieved anything.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, your base has got to be focus. Focus is very important. You got to have a vision and you got to have a mission. You know what I mean? But focus is what it's all about. If you focus on what you got to do, you'll achieve it in South Africa. But laziness is not going to work. You got to wake up, do what you have to do, and come back in the evening. And I promise you, you put your head into it, you put your mind into it, you can do it.
But this is your rearing, right? You said, you're coming back to that first segment when you spoke about as a kid, you used to go on a Saturday morning, go and dust the
shop,
goods at the shop.
And that's how you
As
learned.
the shop opened, you had to work there 7 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock. That discipline, right? Which I think in many ways, maybe we in this generation have done an injustice to our kids because perhaps we more have a little bit more now than what our forefathers did. So what we're doing now is spoiling our kids. So they're losing that. So you're saying that discipline, that hard work, that clarity.
It's very important to have a good team.
Yeah.
Now on my side, I could have never done this on my own. I've got an amazing team that helps me from the finances to your social media to everything. I must thank my team as well. I mean, we've done great work. I mean, in the last 3 years, from where we were to where we are, it's amazing. I mean, we've achieved, we printed so many magazines, average of 120 pages a magazine.
And it's a lot of work that goes behind it.
A lot of work. And if you look at the pricing, which I will give you after the show, we will put it out there, and what we do exactly more insight. It's good value for money, but more than, like I say, the magazine and stuff, it's about the relationship I built up with the people. You know, like I say, I sell nothing.
Mm.
But you need anything, my phone rings. Now it's become a thing about Turkey. Because I've done what I've done in Turkey, because I've got this lifestyle, because I'm a people's person kind of thing. I mean, if you're a people's person, you can't go wrong. But again, like I say, focus is very important. And I'm getting a lot of calls and interest from people all over South Africa to say, please go to Turkey, see what you guys can find us. The only thing we can do is try.
I mean, you as an advisor on the Cytex board.
I'm on Cytex advisory board,
Yeah.
Which belongs to DMG Events.
Right.
They're a Dubai-based company.
Okay.
And I mean, they do all the trade shows and trade fairs in Africa and stuff like that. Quite successful. I'm on their board as well. And it's been exciting times from where I was.
You guys just hosted a very lovely event now recently, Cytex, right?
Cytex,
especially since COVID. I mean, events were something that was quite a rare commodity in COVID, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you hosted a very successful event.
So I partnered up with Cytex. I'm the media partner. I'm on the board, and I got a lot of our South African guys on board at the show. For the first show after COVID, it was amazing. It was really amazing.
That was at Gallagher.
It was at Gallagher. It's the biggest trade fair in Africa. I mean, this is one of the biggest trade fairs in Africa, and it happens once a year. And for the last 2 years, there was no show. So there was a lot of feats, there were a lot of people, a lot of interest, and I must say we're looking forward to next year's show as well.
Can only get stronger and better.
In fact, it is, because I mean, we're getting a lot of our South African exhibitors in there. You know, and it's just been amazing. This year has been good. Looking forward to the year. I mean,
I guess next year also you'll have a lot more of the Turkish manufacturers there and suppliers there as well. Yeah.
That's what we're thinking of. I mean, if I'm going to be based there, you know, spending time there, and we can put it all together.
And interestingly, I just heard that it looks like Turkey may just join BRICS.
I was listening to the same thing. Yeah.
That will be a real.
So it's exciting times ahead of us. You know what I mean?
And you seem to have your pulse on the latest trends, which is very powerful. And I think that comes from, again, lessons for us, is that being that people's person, you're networking with high-end people. You have huge, successful business people that are on your platform. Now, as you speak into this, you might not have had the educational background, but there's many ways to learn. Exactly. Right? And they say up to our grave, we will constantly learn. And that comes out very strongly for me, is that humility, that confidence as well, and that ability to network and learn from others. You know, dealing with people, I guess, on the board of Cytex, top manufacturers in Turkey, international businessmen, successful businessmen locally. You know, pairing people up, that must be so enriching.
You know, it's always when they say when the old people are talking, you must listen. You mustn't talk. You can pick up a lot from them. Now, if you look at my clientele in my magazine, they're alone. I mean, I see 50 people every month. I see them personally with an invoice the old school way. And not because for any other reason, but to get some advice from my clients. So I'll go and I'll have a coffee, I'll have a tea, I'll go with the invoice. You know, like the old school. I mean, today's times, everybody's emailing you the invoices and stuff, right?
Yes.
My way
becomes so impersonal.
Right? So with me is every month, I'll jump into my car, I'll go to every client in this book. I would go to him, Assalamu alaikum salam, here's your invoice, we'll have a cup of coffee, house things and all that kind of stuff. And you always listen. And like you say, you're never too old to learn. And I mean, we're not young anymore, like you say, we're the uncles of the families now. And I mean, I'm learning all the time, and it's been amazing. And that's the part of it with all my clients. And when I go out into the country towns, is all the smaller guys, where you got your B2B, and then you got your B2C, which is your B2 consumer. I always say it's H to H, human to human. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's plain and simple.
All you MBA students now, you got a term now that you can copyright. No more B2B, no more B2C. It's now H to H. And listen here, the royalties go to Yusuf Tilly.
That's right.
So that human to human.
Very important.
Those are principles that are old age principles, right? And we can learn, and all the latest trends. There's all different concepts. Alhamdulillah, all very important.
All very important,
right? Powerful, innovative stuff, concepts in business and so on, especially with the way the world is moving so fast. So we have to be in touch with all of that. but it does come back to those basic principles.
Basic
you know,
stuff,
you spoke earlier about your rearing, where you learned to buy something for 1 rand and sell it for 2 rand.
Finish.
And that principle combined with just having that human touch, dealing with people, keeping in touch with your customers, that hard work, that discipline, having the vision, having that vocation that, listen, this is what I'm put on this earth for, is to serve, and also being adaptable.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen a trend that Turkey is a place, and you're there, it's affinity. I mean, a lot of people are talking of Dubai. You know, you've been there, you lived there as well. You did business there
I
as well.
lived in Dubai.
Yeah.
I was there for a month or so, and I did a bit of work there. The weather, firstly, is no good. It's too expensive.
It's a difficult place to do business as well.
No, from a business point, I must tell you, it's very professional, very work-orientated.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Dubai, 10% of the population is local.
Yeah, it's
and
Emirati,
90% all from other countries. So everybody is there to work. If your work performance is not too good, they retract your visa and you get deported. It's very work-orientated, but your weather gets too hot, and your cost of living,
it's very high.
And you must remember, it's very artificial. I mean, now if you look at Turkey, you look at Europe, you look at all these other countries, it's amazing to see how...
Now, there's real culture there.
Real culture.
It's their culture, right?
Their
Whereas
culture.
Dubai is a created...
They've got every culture in the world in Dubai,
yes.
but it's all artificial. And from a financial point of view, and I mean, you look at Turkey, if you're not working, there's lots to do. You know, there's lots of sites to see, to visit, and it's all natural. It's so amazing. I mean...
And so close to Europe as well.
So close, yeah.
We'll come and visit you. And for those that wanting to do business in Turkey, who are looking to bring in, you know, products from there, this would be your ideal person to speak to, you know, Trade Connect. If anybody wants to connect with you, are you? You have your own website.
I've got.
Or do they? Can they just Google Trade Connect and they'll find your social media pages?
I've got my social media on Facebook, which is Trade Connect SA.
All right. So it's for those of you that want to see it. I mean, it's Trade Connect. That's the logo, and you can just go Trade Connect, quite simple, and you'll find them on social media, Facebook, and the likes of LinkedIn.
I will give you my details. You can share it with the client.
Those, you know, you'd come onto the Inspirate page on social media, and we'll have, you know, details for Yusuf. It's an absolute pleasure to have had you, Yusuf. Quite intriguing. I know you for many, many years, but I learned so much from you in this hour that we shared. You know, even more, and hope to continue, you know, sharing your insights and traversing and being an inspiration and aspiration to many. You know, the important thing that came about here is this of hard work, this of being a people's person, keeping that close relationship with your customers, having a vision. It's not easy as an entrepreneur to get up every day, to be self-motivated. But when you have clarity, you know, Yusuf say now he's going into a new frontier, into the Turkish world, global village, but you have that clarity that this is what I want to attain, then Allah opens a way for you.
Amen.
Right? And that's, you know, he says, you put one foot forward and I'll come to you,
sure.
You know, 3 steps forward to you.
100%.
So with that, we've come to the end of the show, and I hope through this interaction that we've had, it's left some inspiration, some pearls of wisdom for you as the viewer. I know for me it has. I've learned so much, and that we can implement some of this in our lives, and inshallah make this country and this continent and this world a better place. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.